Hey guys, congratulations on the 100th episode. That's really a milestone, I think, in podcast land, because I follow a number of podcasts and many of them never even break the 20 mark or the 50 mark, much less the 100th mark.
Welcome to MeatsPad. In collaboration with the American Meat Science Association, it's a platform dedicated to share breakthrough knowledge that is accessible to the global meat industry. On each episode, you'll have the opportunity to listen and learn from meat specialists and professionals about the whole meat industry. This podcast is brought to you by the U.S. Meat Export Federation, Ultrasource, equipment and supplies for the meat and food industry, Viscofan Collagen Casings, the best alternative to animal gut casings for a better taste and sustainable sausage making, EFA, slaughter and meat processing tools.
Hello, meat folks. Welcome back to the MeatsPad Podcast. My name is Francisco Najar, your host today. Well, we wanted to convene, kind of having a small meat science party, I guess virtually. So we're getting to the 100th episode today. Dr. Bass, how are you?
Excited as usual, Francisco, and excited to have our regular guests back on. Some of the folks that I really hold in very high regard, and they're part of my beloved American Meat Science Association, Collette, Kaster, and Deidrea Mabry. Thanks for joining again.
Thanks for having us.
So, Dr. Bass, it is excited, and actually, it's I feel warm. I feel. I'm back in Mexico this week.
I feel cold because I'm in northern Idaho.
Yeah, well,
yeah, global warming hasn't made it here yet, but that's okay.
That's a contrast. That's a contrast. And it's kind of funny how this path has led us, because the first episode I recorded during the pandemic, and it was actually in this house in Mexico. So it's kind of I'm ironic that I'm doing it for the 100th. A little bit different, I guess. A lot of things have changed, and the meat science community, the meat processing community, has evolved a lot since 2020. I mean, can you believe, like in 2-3? Well, it's actually we're getting to the third year, and it's grown a lot. It's grown a lot.
Yeah, there's there's new meat plants coming online left and right. It seems, during the last couple of years, if I took one phone call, I took 1,000 phone calls on people who had interest in starting up a meat plant. And of course, the very first thing I would say is, why? Did you lose a bet? Did you bump your head or something? But really, it was mostly just to make sure that they went into it eyes wide open, because there was a lot of opportunity. But that, as most of our listeners out there know, it's not something you just kind of wander into. It's something you have to be very serious about. But what's kind of cool is that we do have a lot of younger folks who have come along and joined the meat industry and have some smaller operations up and running right now as a result of some of the things that happened in the last couple of years. And we had the front row seat into being able to experience some of that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think today we have a couple of surprises. We have some folks. Since last week, we started asking some people if they wanted to participate and give some words about what they do and how MeatsPad has helped them in any way. And well, we have in this episode some of that. And I just wanted to touch very quickly on it. I mean, you talk about the meat industry is a niche, but I think we have tried, or we've done our best to touch on every single topic. And I guess when we talk about, meat quality, packaging, shelf life.
I haven't talked about ostriches yet, but I have plans to. So
okay, well, and that's we try to give everyone in the supply chain something that they are interested in. So I think during this last 3 years, this 100 episodes, I think we have at least touched 1, 2, or 3 topics on the general supply chain in the meat industry. So
absolutely.
The other thing that I wanted to say, we have Collette and Deidrea from AMSA, and I think I wanted to just take a moment and thank you guys for the opportunity. I think we never expected. I mean, that we were gonna be continuing to do this. This has started just with that very first episode with Dr. John Gonzalez, just as a hobby. But I think the more and more we do, the more and more comments we get from the meat processing community. I think that's what keeps us going and getting those questions addressed. So
the idea of coming together and creating something collaborative rather than AMSA having a podcast and you guys having already started MeatsPad was a great example of a win-win situation. So we wanted to have a more digital presence. We wanted to be able to bring the idea of meat science to a broader audience. And this partnership that we've created has been, I think, so mutually beneficial. And we receive a lot of great comments. We hear about it from our newsletter postings. And you've given a tremendous number of meat scientists an opportunity to have a really great time being interviewed and getting information out about the vast array of jobs that they do, both in the industry and in academia associations globally. I think you've just done a tremendous job of covering so many topics.
I need all the help I can get. So it's absolutely fantastic to be able to continue to visit with folks in both the industry and in academic roles that RMC, which we'll talk about later on today, is such an exceptional place to be able to connect with our colleagues in meat science. But this kind of allows me to do that a little bit more during the year, more in a one-on-one intimate environment. So yeah, it's been great. So Francisco, how about some statistics on MeatsPad? I think it'd be great to update the listeners as to how big of an audience they are part of.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So we asked our team to kind of gather some information on both channels for the English and the Spanish. By the way, the Spanish, we're going on to the 94th one. So soon we'll have the 100th episode party. I mean, we started on the English one. We have about 184 videos between blogs, episodes, visits that I've done and Dr. Bass have done in some plants. Out of those 184, 99 have been episodes or podcast episodes. Overall on YouTube, we have almost 40,000 views, which, I mean, to be a niche, it's just people in the community, right?
How many listeners do we have out there? Just the traditional audio.
The audio, we have about 1,500 subscribers on the English channel, and that's primarily. I mean, the platform will give you some. They'll tell you the amount of how many countries. So primarily, we have the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Spain, and countries in South America that listen the most. And we have roughly about 38 countries that listen to the English podcast. And you think about it, the English, I mean, everyone, even in Europe, Asia, I mean, that's the capability that everyone can listen to that. And I think the way the Spanish challenge started was because a lot of the Spanish speaking processors like, hey, I want to listen to Dr. Calkins, I want to listen to Dr. Bass. And so we started simultaneously translating that in Spanish. So definitely the content is there. So we have about 100 episodes that can be, I mean, we can select some of the best ones and translate it into the audio, into Portuguese, and YouTube is easy. You just need to add the subtitles, the lyrics or something, and that way they can follow. So definitely something just to keep promoting the channel and this mutual project. So if you don't mind, we're gonna hear some audios very quick, and we can touch on some of that, so we can have some feedback.
Hey, this is Alberto Lores, a meat scientist specialized in casings, working right now for Viscofan. I like listening MeatsPad because it helps me to keep update my knowledge on the meat science and the industry. and the format is very friendly. You can feel the connection with Phil, Francisco, and all the fantastic guests they have.
My name is Jerry Halbitzel. I have been in the meat industry for 43 years, having started in a small locker plant in north central Kansas in 1980. I am currently the meat director for a small grocery chain in north central Kansas. I've been listening to the Meat podcast since its inception. Having met Francisco while he was studying at K-State, I know how passionate he is about the meat industry, and it shows in his podcast. I gain knowledge from them and learn how different aspects of the industry are performed by listening to the professionals in their fields of expertise from different parts of the country. Keep up the good work.
Well, that's Jerry is a very good friend that I met when I was doing an internship at Hy-Vee, and a lot of the it's kind of curious because a lot of what I learned during that internship at the store, and primarily on the meat waste, meat color, that led me, to do a lot of what I wanted to do in the PhD, why I wanted to study that. But it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how those folks that someday you keep that conversation, they become mentors, and I think that's a lot of it has a lot of those mentors that I've had the privilege to have on the podcast, and I think this is for them. Like, this is not a Francisco's platform. This is not a Phil's platform. This is for the meat industry, and keep supporting and helping those that want to learn more about meat science or meat processing. So I don't know, what do you think, Dr. Bass, about those two I guess people in the industry?
It's great to hear the feedback that they're finding value in it. I know that there's some processors out here in the West that use MeatsPad as their regular trainings, their updates and trainings for their own employees, which is kind of cool, and maybe not always directly relevant to their particular business, but I think it's important that because we touch such a vast array of topics, that it helps even those in the business and in the academic aspect of meat science to realize just how big this community really is. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and you have one contrast. We have like Viscofan, it's a company. It's a big global company, and that you get to those folks, and also you get to the small ones. So that's just exactly what you said. So
that's right. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's tremendous to have all kinds of support. And I think when people think about the meat industry, they forget that it's such a broad range of equipment and ingredients and packaging. And so that's a great example of that.
Yeah, and I think when you think about AMSA, we have such a large student and youth population. So it's interesting for them. So within AMSA, we always try to expand their knowledge of the industry through what we put on. And I think MeatsPad's another outlet for that. So they can hear from different parts of the industry, learn about different careers, what different companies are doing, and just kind of increase their knowledge too about potentially even job opportunities and internships through this series. So definitely agree. Great timely topics, variety of topics in a great condensed format. So it's been great.
We have the following video, and I think we wanted to save that for a special moment with our friend Dr. Huerta and Dr. Smith. That this actually was recorded last RMC during those poster sessions, and I really wanted to thank Dr. Huerta for everything he has done for the MeatsPad Spanish channel as well.
Okay, we are in the middle of this poster session, and here we are with Dr. Gary Z. Chester Smith.
Correct.
My mentor, okay? So, how do you see, what is your opinion, the new trends in this conference? I mean, what have you learned anything new? Dr. Smith, how do you see the trend of the plant-based materials, the hybrid products with the meats in any kind of meats, not only beef, but also poultry and turkey and pork.
I still actually have great hope that we can do something that will help countries that will never be able to produce or afford. For example, there are going to be countries in Southeast Asia and in Africa where the only way they're going to be able to get the protein is through some sort of plant-based meat-like thing that they'll like. I don't think it's going to be competitive here. I don't think it's come close yet to tasting the same. So I think we'll continue to see the production. In the opening address, she said it's less than 1%.
Right.
And it was increasing. She says now it's decreasing, and it's still under 1%.
Yeah, exactly. So, they reach a plateau.
But I think we ought to keep doing it, keep doing research on it. I hope the cell-based system can be used by countries that just have no possibility of raising animals, so that they can become independent, not have to depend on somebody selling it to them.
Okay.
A lot of the desert communities can really use it.
Que viva la carne!
The mission of USMEF is to increase the value and profitability of the U.S. beef, pork, and lamb industries by enhancing demand for their products in export markets through a dynamic partnership of all stakeholders. Simply put, USMEF is putting U.S. meat on the world's table.
Now, we're going to change roles. Collette and Deidrea, they're going to ask Phil and I some questions about the inception of MeatsPad.
Hey guys, congratulations on the 100th episode. That's really a milestone, I think, in podcast land, because I follow a number of podcasts and many of them never even break the 20 mark or the 50 mark, much less the 100th mark. What year was MeatsPad started? How many years did it take you to get to 100?
So actually, we started in 2020. As I said in the very beginning, this is the place where I started, and that's kind of a funny story because right in between March, when all this COVID-19 pandemic started, we kind of were in Mexico for something. I can't remember for what, but out of the sudden the borders were closed. Everything was shut. We cannot get back, and so we had to stay here for a couple months, and I was going crazy. I had to write and things. So we kind of asked my advisor at that time, Dr. Boyle, if I could do anything like just as a hobby. So just to prevent myself from going insane, we started, we have this topics that processors and that I think that they will benefit. We touch it in a more friendly way so they can understand, and again, it took us 3 years. At the very beginning we were doing just once a month, but so much material, like let's do 2, and sometimes we do 2 and then the bonus we do 3 a month, and it's been fantastic. Again, with what I do with Dr. Bass, we do on a daily basis. I think a lot of the times when we're helping meat processors and we touched about this topic on MeatsPad in 2021 episode number 2022 whatever. So you can tell them, hey, you want to learn more about this topic? You have to listen to Dr. Komari, you have to listen to Dr. Calkins or Dr. Ram it helps a lot. So they can hear from the best about that topic in particular. I don't know about you. Yes.
And I was a guest early on, and I can't remember which episode, number 5 or something. And for those, I think we maybe have touched on this a little bit in the past, but we got done recording, and Francisco and I just kept talking because I don't know, we hit it off. The 2 of us had not met in person until the following year, and we continued to do this, which was kind of a unique situation, and it was what the times had brought about. It's we were virtual people, but then finally got a chance to meet in person. And of course, the first thing I said to Francisco is, "Wow, you're tall." And the video, if you watch the YouTube videos, it doesn't do justice by any means. Francisco, his alternative job was actually going to be an NBA player, but no, that's not true at all. It was very serendipitous too, the podcast, because at the same time I was thinking the same thing, but I was too chicken to do it. Francisco was bold and was willing to give it a try, and I was grateful to be brought along for the ride. So thank you, Francisco.
That's a pretty cool story. And as you said, it is a product of the time. And I commend you, Francisco, because, you know, lots of us took up art projects or extra exercise or cooking, and you created a very technical and widespread podcast. So well done.
Thank you. And again, thank you, because again, there's only one time in a year that all meat scientists come together. I mean, besides icons, but I think RMC is the best shot to have everyone and have those conversations. I mean, that it's easy to have that. Although the last couple of RMCs I have not enjoyed that much because we just, recording away. So I think this year will be a little bit different.
You're working too hard.
Well, you know, the opportunity abounds there when it is a target-rich environment, as they would say. You know, there's so many folks that we love to visit with. It's like a family reunion that you really want to go to because you like most of the people there. It's really cool, and I'm saying that all in jest, of course, but it is a target-rich environment. There's so many folks that we do want to talk to and interview, and eventually it gets to the point where, oh my, we missed an awful lot of the sessions. But thankfully, Deidrea also records them, which is really cool. So we go back and kind of catch up on that and find new people to talk to, which is just as great. So and again, for those listening out there, we're talking about the Reciprocal Meat Conference. This is the gathering of the meatheads of North America and internationally. I mean, it's become quite the event, and it always has been a great event, but it just continues to get better.
It does. So I have a good question. As we celebrate 100th year, I always think it's pretty cool to look back on history. I like to always go back and see. So you said earlier you had 1,500 subscribers. So who knows when those subscribers joined MeatsPad and started listening to the podcast. So you can't talk about the first interview with Collette and I, because we know that probably goes down in history as your most favorite. But if you were to look back, is there any one interview, podcast, in person that stood out that maybe some of these listeners should go back and find in those as they search back through those 100 recordings?
Well, I think I can go first. And it's not my, I guess, everything and everyone that we have interviewed has been fantastic. I mean, I honestly can tell you that I have not had any trouble with anything, or just being very smooth. But one very special that I had was with Dr. Hunt. I just to be honest, I told him, he was kind of nervous. He didn't know what a podcast was. So I think I told him maybe 4 or 5 times, and maybe yes, maybe not. But I finally got to sit down with him, and I guess if we can reflect on like, I know, in a 20-minute interview, and I feel very fortunate because and we have again Dr. Calkins, Dr. Kumari, Dr. Ramnathan. We have, I can't remember all of them. But in 10, 15 years, those interviews will still be on YouTube, and anyone, all of the new grad students, or they're gonna become grad students, like, oh, I wish I knew this person. Well, I guess you can listen to what he said 20 years ago, and that's, I don't know, I feel that's very deep, but I think I enjoy that a lot, that what we're doing is going to stay there, pretty much for a long time.
Yeah, and I'd echo what Francisco said, is that, every interview has been fantastic. It's been great to learn from folks, and there are definitely a few that have really stood out. A few years ago, I got the chance to interview Karsten Schellhaus, who's a master German butcher. I was actually a little nervous about the whole thing. It's kind of like interviewing a movie star to me. So that was that was really that was a pleasure. And then also, I've had a chance to interview a few of my graduate students who have graduated and published their research, and we had a chance to just kind of showcase some of their research. And I invite any of our listeners to reach out to us if you do have something cool you want to share. Let's do it here. This is the place to do it. Just because I don't know you personally doesn't mean I don't want to visit with you and learn more from you. And so it is really cool. Graduate students out there listening, researchers, you are the backbone of the meat science community. You're the ones keeping this thing rolling and running. It's not us stuffy professors sitting in our offices, as great as that may be. It's the hardworking researchers that are out there getting the job done, and I want to learn more from you. So it's been a number of our former graduate students that have been the really amazing interviews.
Maybe we can do a little series with the research competition winners. That'd be a nice set of graduate
really
students
cool.
to share some their, not only their results, but their hope for the research's use in the future and the application of the research, because I think that's really the crux of it, is directionally where they're going to go with it.
Yeah, and I think the other neat thing that I believe has helped as a platform, just to kind of, we're almost getting to the end of line of this episode, is how can you commingle, and as MSA does, I mean, government, or in this case USDA, like all those folks, because we get some comments from USDA inspectors sometimes, like, oh, I love this episode, or I didn't know this technical aspect of this, or getting some comments from grad students, hey, I want to learn more about this topic. People in the industry, I mean, in the big players and also the small players, I think it's a good moment to thank everyone that has taken the time, like every week and every month they'll listen and continue to support us on either the audio or the video format. I think it's been a good 3-year path for us. So
I'm gonna say, I don't think I've ever listened to one where I didn't learn something. And some of them are topics where I felt like I had a lot of background, but it's the combination of the information and someone's insight into the information. And you guys do a nice job of probing questions and bringing additional information out. So I usually don't ever miss an episode. I kind of stash them up, and when I'm driving in the car or somewhere, that's the other nice thing. They're the perfect length. They're not too long.
Yeah. So RMC is coming up. I would like for us to have just so you can tell us about what's going on. It's going to be in Minnesota this year. What are the maybe surprises or what's happening right now in the meat science community? I know we have ICOMS as well in Italy this year, so I think we can take this moment for you to tell us more about what's going on right now.
For sure. So as you hit your 100th mark, I'll just tell you, we have over 100 speakers lined up for RMC. So if you have a lot of coffee and espresso, you could probably hit 200 by the end of RMC and be ready to roll for many, many years. So just forewarning, Phil and Francisco, but no, super excited. Plans have been continuously underway. We hope everyone listening in our entire meat science community joins us in St. Paul, Minnesota, June 25th through the 28th. As we'll be bringing together our community of professionals and students and celebrate the 76th RMC, which is super exciting. As we look at the program, we have a ton of great new speakers, new topics. I love the Save the Date magnet. Thank you for displaying that. So, kicking off with talking about food security and how the critical role of meat and what it plays in that, rolling into innovations in meat and poultry processing, what the future looks like, and then having kind of a fun wrap-up session on Wednesday morning of igniting your fire. So really getting towards understanding the education, the mentorship, kind of the secret ingredients that our industry has to really prepare youth, prepare young professionals to stay in this industry, to grow in this industry. And that's just the morning session. So, make sure you plan to come to that. And then as we look throughout the day and divide up those 100+ speakers into different topics, everything from, like we talked about, meat nutrition. We're going to have a session about biologics and biomaterials. We're going to talk about meat quality. We will have a great session on cell-based protein, looking at that from a business, a science, and a regulatory perspective. Salmonella food safety is going to be big on the program this year in lots of different sessions and opportunities for speakers, and lots of great ways for attendees to connect and ask questions. And then we'll talk about processed meats, packaging and preservation, new technologies, wrapping it up on Wednesday afternoon with a great flavor workshop. So not only are we going to let you listen to everything, we're going to let you taste different proteins, different flavors. We'll have some grant writing workshops for those that do grant opportunities. And so if you're looking for new research, new technologies, new connections in the industry, new mentors, or just some great food, make sure, as the Minnesotas would say, pack your pan of bars and meet us in St. Paul this summer.
Well, thank you. Thank everyone. I think before we finish this off, we have one last recording for Dr. Michael Gonzalez from the University of Georgia.
Hello, Francisco and MeatsPad. John Michael Gonzalez, Associate Professor from the University of Georgia. Congratulations on 100 episodes. I was happy that I was your first. Appreciate all the great information you provide to small packers and producers about the meat industry and the science behind it. So look forward to 100 more. All right, bye.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dr. Bass, Collette, Deidrea, for everything. Thank you for joining us today for the 100th episode. We'll see you in person in RMC this year.
Wonderful.
Great.
Can't wait.
Both.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Congratulations.
Bye.